Welcome back to Off-Label Veterinary News, your source for commentary on animals, medicine, and practice life. If this is your first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's jump in to some of the stories you might have missed. Our first study comes to us from the University of California, Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, home of sunshine, surfing, and cutting-edge coprophagic research. The researchers wanted to discover how many dogs were coprophagic, what led to these coprophagic behaviors, and did any of the common treatments for coprophagia actually work? Using internet-based surveys, Benjamin Hart and his team found that approximately 16% of dogs engaged in some form of coprophagia, and that was defined as eating feces at least 6 times during the study period. Hart hypothesized that coprophagia was a behavior held over from the evolution from wolves in an attempt to keep the den clean and parasite-free. Hart found in his research that fresh feces was favored, especially less than 48 hours old. When Hart evaluated coprophagia treatments, including behavior modification and 11 commercially available products, he found that success rates were close to 0. As a practicing veterinarian, I'm often asked, why do dogs eat poop? And while this research doesn't answer that question, it does show the importance of cleaning up the poop as quickly as possible. It also goes to show we've got a lot of work to do when it comes to the treatment of coprophagia. What do you think, off-labelers? What are your secrets to dealing with dogs eating poop? I want to hear from you. Our next story comes to us from Malawi, Africa, and has to do with rabies. Approximately 59,000 people die worldwide of rabies each year. The vast majority are from rabies-infected dog bites. I'm proud to serve with Luke Gamble and Mission Rabies in an effort to eradicate rabies from our planet. Annual vaccination of at least 70% of the dog population is recommended by the World Health Organization to eliminate rabies. Mission Rabies provides free rabies vaccinations for the most vulnerable populations, especially in impoverished countries in sub-Saharan Africa. They recently published a study to evaluate why people did or did not participate in rabies vaccine clinics in Malawi. Their research proved that distance to rabies vaccination was the key barrier when it comes to vaccinating dogs against rabies. They also found that pregnant and nursing mothers and puppies were less likely to be rabies vaccinated. Publicity and advertising of rabies clinics is also critical. 27% of Malawians reported they didn't have their dog vaccinated at one of these free clinics simply because they didn't hear about it. 19% of dog owners in Malawi said they didn't have their dog vaccinated against rabies simply because they couldn't handle it. Dr. Gamble and his team hope this research will help other people interested in eradicating rabies. Identifying barriers to rabies vaccine is a critical step towards ensuring 70% of a dog population is vaccinated. Accessibility, education, and restraint are 3 key takeaways from this important research. Be sure to visit Mission Rabies online to find out how you can help. Our last story comes to us from the Yale University Department of Psychology. Molly Crossman and her team wanted to see if a dog could help reduce weight bias in people suffering from obesity. Crossman and her team were drawing on earlier research that showed the presence of a dog made an individual more attractive, more approachable, more relaxed, and more likely to have social interactions. She wanted to find out if you were out with your dog, would you have less stigmatism attached if you had obesity? Unfortunately, Crossman and her team found the presence of dogs had no impact on weight bias. The researchers pointed out that because weight bias was so severe that the presence of a dog may not be enough to overcome it. The researchers pointed out that the presence of a dog may help with attitudes that aren't so openly expressed as weight bias. As someone dedicated to helping with pet and human obesity, weight bias is an incredible obstacle we need to overcome. When people feel stigmatized or marginalized due to a health condition, they're less likely to seek help. Weight bias can also affect healthcare providers, leading them to offer less medical care. I've also observed a form of weight bias towards animals. Dogs with obesity are characterized as greedy eaters, are lazy, or somehow they're responsible for their medical condition. This type of weight bias may also be extended to the pet's owner, blaming them for exercising too little and feeding too much. Weight bias may also hinder the exploration of biological causes, genetic causes, microbiome causes of obesity in humans and animals. Obesity is a complex, multifactorial condition, and it can't be dismissed as easily as you're exercising too little and you're eating too much. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. How does the presence of dogs affect our attitudes towards a person? Can it help overcome biases such as weight bias? I want to hear from you. Well, that's it for another edition of Off-Label Veterinary News. If you like content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so you'll be notified as soon as content like this drops on your internet doorstep. Until next time, keep living that off-label life. Bye!